I've got a confession to make, and it's probably one that's going to confuse a lot of people, and it's one that may have people thinking, God, you don't know how lucky you are. But when it comes to it, I hate staying here. Not in Spain, I love it, but I think when we think about what we really want in life, as fantastic as this house is, and it's great having olive trees, and it's great having lemon trees, and oranges, and figs, and grapes, and growing your own veg, but it's too far from the beach. It's too far from the beach, and the garden is too big. It is just too big, and maintaining such a big garden, if whilst it's fine, and I think the majority of the issue was just find somewhere where there's no ants kicking about so I could sit down. The majority of the issue is the fact that I've never been one for gardening, not for a lot of years, and whilst I enjoyed it the first year that we were here, I think this year one of the biggest issues is the pollen. We've got trees, I mean there's a tree out the front, and oh my goodness, it's been blooming now for a couple of months, and I've never had hay fever as bad as what I've had this year, my entire adult life. And it's not just that, it is the isolation. So if you're thinking about moving to Spain, and yeah, if you like this type of thing, as I sit here and all I hear is birds in the distance, and it's a massive garden that we've got. I mean, it's 1,000 square metres. It's not small by any means. But sometimes, and I think this is why we are lucky, because we can think about it, what it is we really want, and where we want to stay, and it is next to the coast. Because going down to the beach every day, doing that live yesterday morning from down the beach was fantastic, and I do miss staying down beside the beach, and it's too warm out here. Inland in Spain, it's just horrendous. So if you are thinking about moving to Spain, and someone asked in the questions yesterday, I think it was, we're thinking about moving to Torrevieja, which is the best area, and I'm going to be honest, there is, unless you're down the front of Torrevieja, where we stayed, there's a certain street in front of where the church is, and nobody stays this side of it, no locals stay, but it is a fantastic place to stay. But even Torrevieja's changed so much. It's changed drastically since we left, which will be 2 years in a couple of months. 2 years already. How time flies when you're having fun, as they say. And if you're retiring, you're maybe looking for something completely different. But because we're of working age, there's certain things that we like to do. And one of the things that I hate about smaller towns in Spain is the lack of restaurants that are completely different. You've got a few bars that are the exact same, and the people just kind of go to one or the other, and then you've got there's something missing. There's something missing from what we had down in Torrevieja. But Torrevieja isn't the answer. There's the thing. Torrevieja was part of our journey. Torrevieja was always meant to be just a 6 months stay over whilst we explored places. Now, having explored quite a lot of Costa Blanca and a lot of the towns, a lot of the small places, it is cheaper here than Costa del Sol, for instance, the other side of Malaga, down towards Estepona and things like that. But the other side, it's not. You can get properties pretty much the same as what you'd pay up here. And then there's the lifestyle. Whilst being in the Costa Blanca South was good for having the floor business, the marble polishing business, and as good as that's done over the last 4 years, for me it wasn't the be all and end all. Do you know, it was something that I can remember saying to Karen when we first moved here, saying to her, don't be surprised if we end up doing something completely different to what we do now. And her hopes and dreams was to do something completely different to what she's doing now. She never wanted to be working at home. She never thought she'd be sitting at the laptop for 8 hours a day. It was the last thing that she wanted to do, moving to Spain. But she found that job and it kind of changed everything. But then so did COVID and all that. But that's all in the past, and we don't regret anything. And people will say, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. In fact, we shouldn't have done anything that you suggest, because we've went on our own personal journey to try out different ways of living within Spain and find our forever place. And I'm not one that's buying into, oh, you need to buy property now because it's going to go up in price. Property is going to go up in price whether you like it or not. I mean, there's going to be a potential war in the next couple of months. It's not going to be a war. It's all bullshit. Even though the Americans, and this is totally off topic, but even though the Americans are saying that they're not on the ground, I was tracking planes last night that were flying over Israel when they were American military planes, transport planes and fighter jets and Eurofighter jets flying over Israel last night. But anyway, fuel prices are going to go up, everything's going to go up. When you look back to 2008, why was there never a property crash that really, really damaged the UK property market? It damaged the Spanish market because there were so many people that, you know, they thought, bugger it, it's just a second home. Don't pay the mortgage, what are you going to lose? We only paid 5% deposit, fuck it. And the Spanish market was affected by that. Now Spain's putting things in place where you need now a 20% deposit if you're not Spanish, and that protects the market. And now that you've got Northern Europeans buying up property, you've got, well, down in Torrevieja, it's not even Spanish anymore. It's only around about 49% Spanish. You walk down there just now and all you can hear is Ukrainian and Russian accents. Each to their own, and I'm not disputing that they don't have the right to be here. You know, the UK is still the biggest tourism market for Spain. And a lot more people are buying in Spain because they see it as a safe country. It's a safe haven. Let's be honest. It is a safe haven when it comes to Europe. It's safer. You've got people coming down from Sweden because it's safer than Sweden, because of the mayhem that's going on there. The complete shit show that is the UK. The UK must be the only nation in the world that actually voted in its own sanctions against it in the name of Brexit. And that's just been absolutely fantastic for the country. And then when you look at other countries around about Europe, Spain is one of the safer countries, whether you like it or not. Now, people will say, but Spain don't want tourists. Yeah, no, they don't. They don't want tourists. They don't want people coming in, buying up property and then sitting empty for 6 months of the year. They don't want people coming in, buying up property, renting it out for triple money during the summer season, and then trying to rent it out on the low season for from September to June, and it pretty much lying empty because, let's face it, it's just the way that it is. So my confession is, I just don't like where I stay. I love the house. I love the garden to a certain extent because it's given Ginny somewhere to run about, and we can just open the door and it's safe for her. And I think that she missed that staying in the apartment, and we missed being able to just open the door and just let her be as feral as the old git is. But she's not going to be here forever. So where do we go? Oh, that's an entirely different question. And I think if you've watched the channel and you know us, it's probably the worst kept secret. But anyway, that's for another video. Tell me your confessions in the comments. Something that's really on your mind and you don't want to talk to people about it. But drop it in the comments, because I believe that when you put things out there, it's all about manifestation. So this video is really about manifestation, because it's putting it out to the universe. And I'm a big believer in this, by the way, because I've done it many times in my life. I manifested this house, for instance. When we were looking for a property, it's like, anyway, it works. I'm a great believer in it. And this video is whilst about, it's confessing that this isn't the place that I want to be, but I know where it is. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Bit of a rant, but it's good to think, and it's good to, just put things out there.